2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you like it when people hum?
Do I like it when people hum?
Do you like it when people hum?
I can't say that I like particularly dislike it when people hum. I don't like it when they hum and they're not humming a specific song. They're just kind of going, I'm like, okay, what's that? But
maybe you
song,
just don't wait. Maybe you don't wait long enough to find out.
It could be, or they're just like, they're really into symphony and they're just humming the second oboe section of something that I would recognize if the whole orchestra was playing, but
like they're oboe players, and so that's why they're
right. Like we learned this in band, and I just remember my part, which sounds nothing like the song if you heard it by itself.
We learned this in band. That's great.
Because sometimes you get those things that you learned in like 7th or 8th grade that has just been seared into your brain.
Did you get a haircut?
Not recently, but I am not wearing my giant cans that I usually wear.
Not recently, but I'm not wearing pants, so maybe that's
I'm also
why
not wearing pants.
It looks so...
So that makes my head look a little, no pants, shorter hair.
It gives you a special glow on your face, I think. You're like...
It de-accentuates my hair when I'm not wearing pants. For reasons we can't get into.
It's the no pants smugness, I think. That's what it is. Like, I'm not wearing
I do
pants.
have a certain amount of no pants smugness today.
Yeah. Yeah.
In PM. In PS.
Hashtag.
I also have no pants can't spell.
Well, it can't spell acronyms. Right? That's different. That's different then. Yeah.
I lacronym.
Oh, that's good. I like that. A lacronym. A lacronym is somebody who has difficulty with maybe producing or pronouncing acronyms. I declare
that's weird. Are you going through your regular
menopause?
Or are you going through menopause? Menopause.
Why do say something different?
You go through stop, I think. No, it's just that when you turned your head and coughed, I heard it more clearly. So that was you were going towards your your microphone.
Is it
so
wrong?
I'm a little worried about that.
Maybe it's the Zoom. Maybe it's the Zoom.
Zoom is set to a different one than Audition.
Zoom. Okay, let's see if this makes it better. Stand by. How about now?
It does sound different.
Is that better?
I can't tell if it's better or not.
When I called, it got loud.
Like,
I don't know if it's better actually. You sound. How about?
Well, as long as
if I do this, can you hear me? Is this changing anything?
Clearly that's your AT 2020.
Thanks. You don't really sound better, he says. It really doesn't matter what kind of microphone you use. You sound
Zoom.
like garbage either way.
It's been filtered through Zoom. You're recording it locally, so it'll sound better when you send your thing.
Right, and we don't even use the Zoom audio.
Right, exactly.
So
as long as
if only they could hear what was on the Zoom audio.
I don't care. But I worried that the two were doing the same thing.
Oh. How about yours? Is yours set up properly?
It is. If I
you
go
sound
like
wonderful.
that, it makes a big thing on it. I go whack.
You may want to describe that since people may have just... You're touching your microphone.
I also have my microphone down below my frame. So when I go like this and it gets real big, I know I got the right one.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. So, you had a good weekend? You had a good...
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Whatever, yeah. I know you were like freaked out about the downloads on the podcast, and I don't want to get too meta here, but no, you okay with that? Are you okay with people listening? It's like, I don't understand. It seems like people are listening, and it's starting to freak me out.
Yeah. Okay. Those downloads. Yeah. We had a bit of a spike. We'll see what happens this week.
You're like so worried.
But if I'm going to start feeling a little pressure here if this this continues.
Oh, we can't. You'll ruin it if we try to actually. If we actually pretend as if somebody's listening, it's going to ruin everything.
Right. Yeah.
So you can't do that.
Anybody listening? That's a bot. Bot downloading all this.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know whether you have an agenda for this evening.
It's
or not.
It's basically the liberal agenda. But
how do you know what that is anymore?
I threw the dart on the thing, but no, not really. I mean, honestly, you have sent me. I have the Post-it note of pins here, and I know we had that kind of bizarre sort of existential one that we wanted to tackle, and that probably is good for the end. That may end up being a down the donut hole.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But you sent us a couple of ones that I really want to get to the bottom of. The first one is probably kind of short. It's just I need to know what this is, and that's Apple Watch insults.
Well, okay, so let me ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
So, and this is this for those of you who are just listening, I'll describe my actions after I do them, but it's important for me to first do them silently.
Okay, gotcha.
So if I do this, what does that mean?
Okay, that is the finger to the lips. That's a shush.
Right. Okay. And if I do this.
Okay, cupping the hand on the ear. That's I can't hear you. Please repeat. Something like that.
And if I do this.
You put your hands up in a defensive action and your eyes
if
are
I make
really
a facial,
wide,
if I go like this, like
that means, oh my God, this is bad. This is bad.
Like,
you need to stop. You need,
right,
pushing them forward towards me is sort of you need to stop. All right, like let's keep it moving. Right. Wrap it up, maybe.
Twirling my finger. Yeah. Right. All right. So there's and like if I do this,
shrugging the shoulders. I don't know.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of like just sort of. Like bodily expressions, right?
Sure.
There's like you can communicate a lot through body language, right? Okay. So what if I do this?
You're looking at your watch.
And what does that mean?
If you're looking at it and you're not doing anything,
you and I are talking to each other. You and I are talking to each other, and I do this.
You feel like you think it's getting late, perhaps.
I mean, more generally, do you assume that I'm checking the time?
Oh, yeah.
Right. I think that's a fair assumption, right?
Right. If it was a gesture meant to convey something to me, I would say like, it's getting late or something like that. But if you just do it, then I'm just like, oh, you're checking what time it is.
Right. The problem is the Apple Watch has just made this an impossible, like it's made checking your watch impossible. Like you I mean, let me explain. If you're in a meeting with somebody or just meeting socially and you do the kind of gesture to look at your wrist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we are many, 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 many years into having the Apple Watch now, everybody knows what that's about. People, including me, still believe that you're checking the time.
Right.
And that's an indication that either you're supposed to be somewhere, or maybe running late, or maybe you're seeing how long this has gone on, and maybe it's about to be followed with it's getting late, or I forgot, I got to do this thing. Right. But most of the time now, people with an Apple Watch, when they're checking their watch, it's because they got an alert. They got because every hour you get a stand alert if you haven't stood up.
Sometimes turn that off.
Sometimes you'll get a breathe alert. Sometimes
turn
you'll
that
get
one off too.
Maybe you don't understand the purpose of the Apple Watch. Sometimes you'll get or messages will come through. You'll get notifications.
I do get messages. Yeah.
I get a notification on my watch when the International Space Station is going to be crossing the sky near me.
That's cool.
Yeah, I get all sorts of alerts when my table's ready at Disney. I get all sorts of alerts. Right? Okay. The problem is that I now have to choose between like, looking at the notification or just not knowing. Wait, what was that? Oh, something just buzzed. Right. And now if I look at my watch in an obvious way, it's going to seem as an insult to the person.
So you feel like it'll be the same as just pulling out your phone and starting goofing with that while they're talking?
No, well, that's different. That pulling out your phone and goofing with your phone while you're talking to somebody. I think that's even a more obvious.
Yeah,
slight,
but I mean
right?
Along those lines.
But it's like old school looking. You and I are having a conversation. Maybe we're at dinner, and I look at my watch, and you're going to automatically think, "Oh, he's now wondering what time it is for a reason."
Oh, I see.
Right. So it's kind of like it's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, am I bothering you? So so the same thing applies to the Apple Watch, and so I now have this conundrum. Like I have this, not cheap watch on my wrist that's buzzing at me because I programmed it to buzz at me for some, for various things, and I can't look at it lest I insult the person I'm with. Because then what do? I look at it and I say, I'm not looking at the time. I'm actually just checking this message. I'm checking this. Right. And now I've interrupted the flow of the conversation anyway. So then I find myself like surreptitiously like.
Right. And then that makes it even worse.
I've been
see you doing that.
I'm just kind of like glancing down, just like, I have done things like drop something before.
Yeah.
To watch, it's like an old magician's trick, it's like a misdirection thing. So like you drop and then so it works two different ways. One is you drop something in the direction of where your wrist is, so then you can look at your wrist at the same time.
Right.
But you have to turn the wrist at the same time, or else the phone won't wake up.
It stays asleep,
and you won't see it. And now you missed your opportunity. You can't drop something again. Now they'll worry that you have some problem with
grasping. You can carry flash powder around with you.
Right.
Okay.
The next thing you do, you could drop something away from the area. So that makes it more like, I can look because I know they're looking over there.
Right.
I'm going to look at my watch real quick. Okay. I've also been known to play with it. You can hear that, maybe the Velcro on this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll loosen it. I'll just play with it. And people see me. So that way they just think, oh, he's just playing. He likes to play with his watch. He's like playing with his watch. And I'm just playing with my watch. And then what I do is over time, I like spin it. So the watch now is facing the inside.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And so now I can just kind of it's less obvious. If you just glance down at your hand, you can because you can pick at your finger or something disgusting like that, or look at your food if you're eating. And now you're looking at your watch face. It's a lot easier to see that way. So that's another trick. And I just feel like
I've come up with all these social situations.
I've come up with all these. I've come up with all these compensation
and tricks.
Yeah, for looking at the watch when I've told it I just wish that people. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know how to just change the way we think about these things. Maybe the next generation won't even have that concept. Oh, somebody looks at their watch.
Well, it's let me ask you this: when we're together,
yeah,
and I know I've gotten a notification on my watch before, and I'm sure I've looked at my watch. Have you thought anything bad about me?
You're an ass. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well then there goes that theory.
I know. I think
what as ubiquitous as these things are, I think we're all pretty much aware that.
I think what happens, you'll sometimes hear me say, "Is everything okay?"
Yeah. Which I remember that being something that annoyed you earlier when somebody does that to you.
Well, ask them everything. Well, that's I know, but do as I say, not as I do, kind of thing.
Sure.
It's not a big deal. It just happens. It happens all the time, and it happens to me. I see you check your watch, and I'm thinking, oh, he's wondering what time it is.
Mm.
So
because you still got watch on your mind.
Yeah, I don't know how.
That's it's kind of like the iPhone. The very last thing you use it for is a phone. It's like the watch.
Right.
pretty much the last
possible.
thing you use that thing for is to see what time it is. It's like everything else is a much higher.
Yeah, in fact, I'm more likely to look
activity.
at my phone for the time than I am my watch. That's what's crazy because I have to actually turn my hand around.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why do we wear watches like that? Like, oh, the rest of the world gets to see what time it is. Here,
right?
You all can see.
And it's on the outside, or I'm banging on doorknobs.
And now to look and see what time it is.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Good. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
What about the old pocket watches?
Well, that's pretty much what our phones have become, kind of.
No, but I mean,
oh, I know.
Pocket watch.
That would be kind of cool to have like an Apple Watch pocket watch that was like round and had a little thingy on the top, like a little crown or whatever was on the top.
And that way it's more obvious. All
cool.
This does is tells me the time. That's all it does. I know. I could just get a watch. I could just have a watch and then...
they got those.
I know. I remember a friend asked me way back when I got my first Apple Watch, and she asked me, so what do you think? Like, did it change your life? And I said, no. No.
A weird tan line.
It basically, I miss less messages.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's it. That's about it.
Yeah,
have you ever used Apple Maps and then it starts trying to give you directions through a series of vibrations on your wrist?
Yeah. Oh, that's
a nice thing. The first time it happened, scared me to death. And I was like, "Why am I having is this some weird like wrist stroke I'm having or something?" I don't know, like why. And then I look down at my watch and I see it like saying turn left, and it's like giving like different vibrations for different directions. Mm-hmm. But they never tell you this.
That's the weird thing with Apple products.
There's no manual, and it's not like
zero manuals.
Okay, by the way, if you want to turn this feature on, click here, and this is what it means. Like 2 for right, one long one for left, maybe.
Yeah, pattern one for right, and a steady one for left.
Like, just tell me.
And
okay, now I know.
I don't like it that it does that if you're using it in the car.
When else are you using it? When you're walking down the street?
Yeah, there's walking directions. If I'm in like a weird town that I don't know. Yeah, because it does a good job.
You get to the corner and you're gonna and it starts giving you tap. You're gonna turn right. No.
Yeah.
I don't believe you for 1 second.
I do it.
No,
and it makes it where you don't look like a doofus out of towner.
But for how long do you trust that? I mean, like just directions like 2 blocks away, or
well, I mean, I set up the directions on my phone, and so I see kind of the overview of the deal.
Yeah.
And so if it's not kind of going in the way that the overview showed me at the beginning, then I may pull my phone out again to just make sure I'm still on the blue line. But yeah, it's cool. And like I said, you don't look like an idiot like walking around with your phone going, like Spock taking tricorder readings trying to figure out where
but that's what everybody does. That's what everybody people look at their phones all the time, looking at their messages, they're looking at emails, they're looking at Instagram, they're looking at
That's true. Yeah. So if you're walking around looking at your phone, you don't look that different.
It's not like you're the guy,
right?
It's not like you're the guy with the laminated map. Full, yeah, you are here.
There's a YouTube channel called Glove and Boots that's it's puppets, and one of them is the Johnny T's tips to traveling to New York City. And it says, if you walk around Manhattan with a big map looking up at the top of the skyscrapers, it's basically like wearing a shirt that says, my wallet is in my back left pocket and you can have it.
I mean, people of a certain age have all been that person.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, right?
For sure. I
like the, I forget what they were called, the one... Is it Let's Go? No, that's a travel guide. There were these maps that you could buy, bookstores, but also in like train stations and airports, and they were unique at the time because they were laminated but foldable.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, and it only opened up. It was kind of like the shape of a brochure, but it opened up accordion style.
Oh, that's cool.
And that I guess you never used those.
Not one of those. I did find one that I wish I could have found more maps in this form, but it was like that. It was laminated, but they're squares, and when you open them up, whoosh. Yeah, they sort of, I don't know, like pop-up booked out into a much bigger map, and then they would do it just as quickly going back into a little square. And that was really cool because you go whap, whap, and it's right back to where it was, and you didn't have to worry about it. I feel
like that's the physical representation of my personality.
It is. Like, open it up and you get real big, and if you spill coffee on it, don't worry because it's not going to stain. That's Jason.
Okay.
It's a little early to end the podcast.
Coffee thing. That's interesting. Yeah. So that was it. It happened to me. I saw somebody look at their watch and I thought to myself, oh, they're checking, like, what? I wonder if I'm bothering them. And then I realized they have an Apple Watch and I thought, probably just checking a message.
When Apple Watches came out, I was like, they were kind of expensive, and I was a bit worried that it was going to be too expensive to catch on for no more than it was. Of course, I didn't know at the time because I hadn't bought one yet. This was like right when they were announced. I was like, that is so cool. And I'd been waiting on that for ages because, they had that iPod Nano that was just the square screen, and people were making watch bands to go on that.
A friend of mine did that, and it's ridiculous looking.
Yeah.
It's like wearing
clearly
a deck
Apple
of cards
was like,
on your wrists, basically. It's like...
when they came out, I was like, that is so cool. That is great. But is this ever going to catch on? And now it's like, if somebody's wearing a watch, it's going to be an Apple Watch. Like, I would say probably 7 times out of 10, they're wearing an Apple Watch.
That's very specific, 7 times out of 10.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you couldn't say 8 times out of 10 because then I would have said, you mean more like 4 before, right?
I'm very much into reducing fractions. You know me.
I'm very into prime numbers.
Right. It is either 1, 3, 5.
So the other
11 out of 10.
The other thing I think I wanted to talk about, and I'm sorry for not giving you much to go on with this.
Yeah, because I was about to get all mad.
You thought I was talking about something like personal or
yeah, you just sent me, I'm out of the group with a exclamation point, and I couldn't. Yeah. I was like, who kicked you out of what group? I was about to get indignant.
Yeah, because you're like, have you actually been ejected from some group?
I was like, all right, did you get kicked out of something? How indignant am I supposed to be here? Because
I appreciate that.
I don't want to have to go to school and talk to the bully or whatever.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No problem.
I was actually very excited. I was kind of
then you were like, I escaped, and I was like, okay.
So what happened was, I think it was Saturday. I believe it was Saturday, and Michelle, we were going somewhere, and Michelle asked, or just made reference to something somebody had sent in a text message, like a group text message, and said, can you believe so-and-so sent this person who will go unnamed right now until I slip up a little later. This person was out like shopping for very expensive cars apparently, and then sent pictures of said shopping or videos or something, and like to a whole bunch of people, family members and so forth. And so then Michelle was on the receiving end of this. Well, I'm more closely related to this person than Michelle is. But I didn't get sent the text.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, I know I didn't get that. And she looks at the group text thread and she's like, oh, yeah, you're not on here.
Wow, that was a lot of like scrolling. You were just pantomiming. How many people were in this group?
It was like one scroll worthy, like, like probably.
That's still a lot.
8 or 9 people or something. Yeah. I was so excited. I was like, oh, don't say anything.
Yeah. Because if you keep that one going, I'll stay out of it and nobody will notice.
Exactly. I was like, this is great. Then the next day, because it's Palm Sunday and certain
shop for expensive cars.
Parts of my family are more religious than anyway. So I guess there was some kind of like Palm Sunday related text message thing that got sent out to like, I mean, to say it was at least 19 people was not, I'm not overstating anything. I may actually be understating.
Wow.
There were so many people on this thread that people were, it was like a cocktail party. They were like introducing themselves to one another.
Huh.
Oh, wait, so who are you? Where are you? Where are you? And there, of course, everyone on this thread is receiving these bouncing messages back and forth, right? Where people are having
that would have been awesome for you if you had been in on all that.
And that's the thing. Michelle's like saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your blah, blah, blah sent this. But, and I said, I didn't get anything. She's like, what? She says, look, even Alex was in there somehow. Poor Alex, who's probably still trying to sleep in Bellingham.
Alex can have his left group.
Well, that's the thing. Like if it's not if it's a group that's not all like iMessage group people. I don't think you can leave those.
So it's a green bubble group.
Like I think there's
You have to just block them.
But I wasn't in the list. 2 days in a row.
That's awesome. And I wonder who's pissed at you.
Well, they're like two different people still. Like that was the best, but they're both family members. So it was like maybe they finally gotten the message. I've gotten out.
Every time you talk to them in a group, you keep looking at your watch.
I'm out, baby.
That's awesome.
I know. I was so excited. Like maybe this is it, because now they'll use these other. They'll go back to this group message instead of creating a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Michelle, I was like, look, with this many people in there, you can just sneak out.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's an iMessage.
An Irish block, I think we call it.
Just like wait till like somebody's like bleep, 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 and then boop, just Michelle's left the message. It doesn't matter. No one will see it because it's just scrolling up so fast.
Right.
Yeah.
There you
go. Oy. So that made me very happy. Because you know how I feel. You know how I feel about that.
I do. I think in that case, like on that last one particularly, where people start introducing themselves to other people.
Yeah.
I think that one would have gotten me. I think I'd been like, okay, done with this crap. Oh, hi, Susan. I'm out of here. Bye.
Because they totally can hear the voice. Well,
you can do the Animoji. I can make a puppy dog go, I'm out. Bye-bye.
Maybe that's what I'll start doing as a defensive measure. Is I will start responding to these messages with voice memos.
Yeah, I think you should do the Animoji. Do like the unicorn. It's really, look, guys. I really don't want.
And like, I never thought of that.
That would be awesome.
Oh, well, come on. Maybe I should send you one right now. So what do? I click on the little face thing.
Yeah,
I haven't done this in forever.
And don't do the
are there new ones?
Well, the one where it's like your face or your
the one that,
emoji or whatever. That's
people
lame.
really think highly of themselves with these two. Have you noticed that? When people will send emojis like, yeah, you haven't looked like that since ever.
This is what I
have
looked
you looked
like
at yourself lately?
Sophomore in college.
I'm still. Well, never mind. It doesn't. I don't want to go there. So there's a mouse, an octopus. I think that's an octopus, or is that a crab? What is that?
There's
an octopus?
I think it's Cthulhu. I think.
I don't know what that means.
I think it's supposed to be an octopus, but the eyes are like right here, and all the tentacles are down here, so it always makes me think.
There's a cow, a giraffe.
I love the giraffe.
Shark,
the giraffe's awesome.
An owl, a warthog, a monkey, a robot. I guess that's a cat.
Yeah,
dog,
a cat, a dog,
an alien, which makes me think of.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be an alien.
Fox, poopy.
Poop. Yeah, you don't want to be talking poop. That would be perfect, actually.
A pig, a panda, a rabbit.
They've really expanded this. I haven't looked at this
there's
in a
the
while.
unicorn.
The unicorn is my favorite.
The lion, the dragon, the skull, a bear, a tiger, a koala bear, a dinosaur, and a ghost. So
any of those can tell these people really. To bite me.
Well, the owl's kind of interesting, but they don't really have lips. I don't think that'll be expressive enough. Well, maybe the unicorn. Try the unicorn.
The unicorn is my favorite because it's a horse, and so the mouth is all like, rah, rah, but he's also a rainbow and has a horn.
Let's see.
He's fun.
So okay, so what do I wait? Don't I
There's
have
a little
to
record button in the corner? And so you just look at your camera or hit the record button and start. Well,
I have all the. There's a whole bunch of different unicorns.
Oh, you're looking at the emoji one.
Oh, I'm looking at the stickers.
Right, oh, you want to go to the one to the left of that looks like a little face with one of those targeting squares around it.
Oh, okay. So they're like the same things, but
they're animated and they track your face. So.
Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. So do I just press it once, or do I have to hold it down? Is it like an Instagram recorder?
I think you press it once, and then.
Okay. So look, guys, I have, it's been lovely knowing you and receiving these messages, but it's time for this nonsense to stop. And so I'm out of here. See ya. All right. So I'm going to send that to you.
You're going to send it to me. Awesome. Then we'll post it.
Oh, great.
Too late. We're posting it. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's fun. So I think that I complained to you before about Carlos sending these messages, didn't I? Did I mention that to you?
Well, you said he was somebody that wasn't to be named.
Oh yeah. No. Not the stuff from, not these text messages. He likes to send voice recordings. Like he'll send, because he's driving, I guess, a lot, and so he'll just record his voice. And I keep telling him, like, dude, just use the the voice to text feature.
Yeah.
It's fine. But
with Carlos, you know how that's going to go.
I know, that'd be great though, right?
But, okay, so if it's an entertainment thing, then I'm all for it.
But he sends these other things, and I can't listen. Half the time I can't listen to them because I'm not in a place where I can play.
Right. Whoever is, really.
I know. But I may start doing this instead.
There you go.
When I respond, I may say, so guys, and I'll do it as the unicorn.
The Jason unicorn.
That's great. And he keeps talking. He's still talking to it. Like it's still on my screen. He's still having this conversation. It's kind of like having a little buddy. It's like having a buddy.
He's your advocate.
Yeah, he's like,
unicorn advocate.
He's just talking to me. He looks so happy. Yeah, he even has like his nasal flare and everything.
Yeah, you can make your eyes real wide and his will get real big.
Yeah,
and stick your tongue out and everything. I entertain the hell out of myself with those. Still, like when they first came out, all I could do is just like goof with them and laugh my ass off because it was just way too fun to make the little, dog or the fox or whoever just do goofy stuff.
Yeah.
Then I started trying to like lip sync with different movies.
So did you say movies or boobies?
Movies. You can't really lip sync with boobies. That's an anatomical difficulty. But if I lip sync along with like bits of Star Wars, and I can make Han Solo look like he's a fox, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is the monkey or whatever, and it's just kind of fun.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time on myself when this first came out.
You'll have to show me. So why? Oh, 1 second. I got to clear this. It's so distracting.
I know.
It's way too distracting. Okay. So, and your contact keeps telling me he wants to update the photo to the same photo.
Yeah, that's weird.
I already have it. Stop asking.
No. This one's better.
I don't want your new version. I want the old. This is fine.
Yeah, the upgrades, stuff's in the background. Yeah, you still want it. There's a lot better security on this one.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So the doorbell rings earlier.
Oh yeah?
Which is problem number one.
Yeah. Because nobody's called to say they're coming over.
Like, I've learned to accept it with deliveries.
Sure.
Although they're not consistent. Some will ring the bell.
No, they are
some
not.
Won't. So
we can definitely talk about that.
And there's like an inverse relationship between the value of something being dropped off and whether they ring the bell or not. So like,
and how much they care whether or not you know it's there.
They'll drop if I'm receiving like, I don't know, pens or dog treats, I'll get a doorbell ring. Mm-hmm. If I'm receiving like a MacBook Pro,
and one of those sort of insistent knocks,
right? If I'm getting like a MacBook Pro, no ring. If I'm receiving any kind of like anything that needs to be refrigerated, and it's 100 degrees outside,
they just gotta caress the door a little bit, and then they leave.
Just like set it down, like, oh, but we sent the picture, but I'm not looking at my watch.
Yeah, we emailed you that we delivered it.
I'm like, I can't. Don't you understand? I was meeting with somebody. Can't look at my watch. Because my ring it'll send the picture too. Right. That someone's there. But have you ever gotten that alert on your watch and you're looking to see who it is, but you don't see enough? And you're like, I can't see. I know, is that an old picture? Is that a new picture? Mm-hmm. It's like, why do I even have this go to my watch to begin with?
We've got the ring or the nest,
I know.
And it's next to, and we're in a sort of a complex, right? We got
I know about that too.
And so mine is going off all the time with people walking their dogs and stuff. I'm like,
I thought you said it like it didn't, like it would wait to see if somebody was just passing by, or
no, I think I was wanting it to do that. Okay. It did not. It does not. No.
Did your neighbor say anything about us standing at their door for a long time?
No, they didn't.
Okay. That was the best.
Yeah, that was
the best. Oh, we get there, and Michelle walks with such confidence. I mean, I had only been to your house
the day before.
I had only been to your house one time, and that was at night.
Yes.
And we came...
And that was, more than a year ago?
Well, because we met at a restaurant, remember?
Right, the Thai restaurant downtown, yeah.
And, it was way, way more than a year ago. We met at this restaurant, and then we walked back to your place. So we actually came from the, downtown side.
Right, yeah.
Right. And so, I would have been lost. Completely lost. So when we are coming over this next to do this Torch Madness recording... she's been there, at least she's been there more than once. I mean, without me, to your point, she had been there the day before.
Right.
And so she's walking with confidence. We're carrying the stuff. And I say, it's me. So I still say, how do you know where they are? She's like, oh, I know it's down here, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay. She's like, I was just here. Okay. So I'm following her, and we walk up to the door, and she and I said, is this the one? She's like, yeah, this is their house. Okay. She rings the bell. And the first tell is, it's like some off-brand camera.
It's the Alula.
Yeah, whatever that is. The uvula bell. I don't know what this is. And I'm even commenting, it's not clear what button to push, because there's the button, which looks like a button. And then there's the thing that looks like the camera, the lens. Mm-hmm. But then there's a circle in the middle.
So, yeah, I don't know what that is.
What is that? Is that like an ejector seat?
See, all these places have the Alula security system.
Yeah.
But when we got ours, we didn't get with the doorbell. We just had those regular white plastic with the sort of oval shaped illuminated button from the 70s. That's what we had.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. So she's ringing this bell. I'm like, which button do you? Anyway, and this is happening, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think he has this doorbell. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, I guess, because it's my brain. I must be wrong. And I said to her, are you sure this is their house? She's like, yes. And she even says the house number. That's the one we're standing in front of. I'm like, okay. And we're waiting, and I'm even making looks in the because you know how I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, like ring the bell. I'm like, we're looking at you like this.
They so got a notice on that. I don't know that they did, but they did.
So there's no answer. And Michelle even says, "Well, that's not like them. To like not come right away." I'm like, I know. True. So I said to her one last time, like, "Are you sure this is the right house?" And then she starts looking at her phone. Like I'm like, I'm texting Marcus. I'm texting him. Like, what's your house number? And then he says, "You tell me the number," and it's like the one right next door. And I said, "This isn't the house. It's like Craig all over again." And so I have to go. We go next door, and this is the kicker for me. This is the kicker. She was so sure that this is the house, right? But there were some key elements that should have clued her in that there's no way this is the house. Number one, your neighbor is on an end of unit, right? That stands out. And it's like the last one that your brain makes a little like check that, like, oh, their house is on the end. So even if you have the wrong block, you should never have the wrong sequence of houses.
Right, yeah.
Right, because it's on the end. Second, your stoop is pristine. There's not a thing, there's not a little bit of tchotchkiness or kitschiness or anything about it. It's just pristine. Right? Your neighbor's stoop, however cute it may be, has all sorts of stuff there.
Yeah, Kirkland's blew up over there.
Planters and stuff, including like this little like frog. There's like this little frog dude sitting in a thing with a baseball, like a real actual size baseball, like an actual baseball, like sitting in there. Like there's all these things that are so notable. Like you would know, like, oh, this is right. I know this is their house because it's the one with the frog and the baseball.
Right.
I can make a little story about it. Right? Frogs out playing baseball in the stoop.
I'm always talking about frogs and baseballs.
And yeah, thank God they didn't answer. Probably because they're like me. Like, I don't know who these people are. Just wait till they go in. Probably.
Whoa! Until that dude started doing whatever he's doing into the camera. And
we're carrying boxes.
I'm certainly not going down there now.
We were carrying stuff. Michelle has this big satchel, and I was carrying the box of snacks and all this stuff. So I know they thought we probably thought we were selling stuff.
Oh,
don't answer the door, honey. They're selling stuff.
Think of that.
It's those Jehovah's Witnesses people. Don't answer the door.
I know he's not dressed. Tower, and we got some wasabi chips.
Wasn't I wearing my jacket? I was even wearing my jacket.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, well, of course, I was from church. I was knocking for Jesus is what they thought I was doing, probably. How is there not a church named that, by the way? Knocking for Jesus.
I don't know.
Or a telethon.
Yeah.
Knocking for Jesus, brought to you by Oral Roberts University. Anyway, dialing for. Anyway, so the doorbell rings tonight.
Yes.
And my immediate instinct is just ignore it. Right? Oh yeah.
It'll go away.
Oh, we go into when I was a kid, we would go into hiding mode. It was like this.
Oh yeah.
It was this game. Like, don't say anything. Wait till they go away. So the doorbell rings, and I have this like Pavlovian like response to the doorbell ring, like trouble, trouble. I don't want to, and if it's like, I mean, I don't want to be sold anything or attempted to be sold anything.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Right. I mean, if it's a neighbor, they're probably just coming over to complain about something. I don't want to deal with that. But all of this went to this heightened level, this like extreme level during COVID.
Oh yeah.
Like during COVID, if your doorbell rang, it was like barbarians are at the gate. Like you're getting those like vats of boiling oil ready to pour over the top of the wall.
All Adam's family on them.
You know, I mean, you were like, everything. Light the torches that like the arrows of fire.
Quick, Amazon Echo device, crash the compound.
Right. And that hasn't really worn off. That's just still like that. And so when the doorbell rings, then my first instinct is, oh, okay, it's probably delivery. I'm just going to wait for them to go away. Or if they persist, then I'll look at the camera thing and see who it is. 9.9 times out of 10, it's not worth answering.
Right.
Right. I would say maybe 5% of the time I'll actually have to get on the doorbell thing and say, "May I help you?" Like the speaker thing.
I have never used that.
Oh yeah. Well, then, and I don't even know if it works well because I'm never on the receiving end.
Sure.
But they do say stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
It feels so weird doing
just
that.
Go away.
Can you please just go away? Just go away, please. Just step away from the door, please.
It'd be way too tempting for me to pull some weird voice.
Yeah, you'd be great at it. I know.
What do you want?
I think how is that not a feature? Like you can have their doorbell respond a certain way, like,
hey, what the hell are you looking at?
like a voice, like a voice change, like one of those voice changing things. I don't know what they call that, but
Voice changers. Yeah.
voice changers. Anyway, tonight you can see we're at my mom's house. We're eating dinner, getting ready to eat dinner. Anyway, and you can see this small person at the door, like it's a child.
And this is before the doorbell rang or after?
No, like doorbell rings, small person at the door,
yeah.
but like right at the door. Not like 6 feet back from like right at the glass, because there's just glass, like stained glass, and you can kind of see it, but through the glass. Anyway, my response, of course, was just leave it alone. Don't worry about answering the door. And I think she thought maybe it was like a neighbor's, like across the street's kid or whatever. I'm like, but they shouldn't be at the door. What are they doing at the door? COVID. What are they doing at the door? So she goes to the door, my mother, because she can't help herself. And she opens the door and proceeds to start having a conversation with this person at the door. And I can hear the little girl's voice. She's like, oh, she's like, and then she closes the door and she says, what did she say? She starts saying, oh, it's like the Girl Scouts or something selling coupons. And I said, yeah, like, what? Tell them to go away. Don't buy coupons. What are you doing? She's like, oh, no, it's $5 a coupon. And then Michelle's here, so Michelle's giving her moral support. Like, oh, yeah, buy these coupons. I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm going to... So Michelle gives her a 10. Like, buy 2. They don't even know what they're buying.
Yeah, what do Girl Scouts sell coupons?
Then she goes back out to her, and she says to the girl, and I said to them, look, if she's selling Girl Scout cookies, buy the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
Don't buy coupons unless they're coupons for Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, but
that's the only kind of coupon worth buying from a Girl Scout.
Why are they not cookies? Why are they coupons?
Right? Are they like IOUs or something?
Yeah, like when the Star Wars figures first came out. You get a picture of a thing you're gonna get later.
There's a picture of a tag along and a picture of a Thin Mint.
Don't these look great?
And the mystery one,
right?
That turns out to be a Jawa.
Yeah, if you clip off enough Girl Scout cookie points off of the boxes and send them in,
you'll get Snaggletooth, the guy you never see in the movie.
Right, you get Samoa Fett.
If you eat enough, people who eat enough Girl Scout cookies will get Samoa Fett.
That's true.
So so she goes back out with money in hand, and then she asks, because I asked her, are they wearing masks? No, they're not wearing masks.
Yeah, that's not very Girl Scouty.
So she goes back and she says, do you guys need a mask? I'm like, oh my God.
I'll trade you a mask for some coupons.
So she gets the coupons. She brings them in. And of course, I'm not treated. For me, anything that's come to the door from a stranger is to be treated as like toxic waste.
Right. Yeah, it is.
It is all immediately suspect. Radiation. Right. And so she brings it into the kitchen. I'm like, no, stop. Don't bring this into the kitchen.
You got to go through decon procedures.
Keep it away. And she's like going to put it places. I'm like, no, by the coffee maker. No. Like, oh, by this.
Let me rub it on your face.
She goes, put it by the counter where I'm standing. I'm like, no, put it somewhere far away. So she finally like puts it up on top of the refrigerator. Right.
There you go.
And I immediately realized like, okay, these are flat. Mm-hmm. Chances that anyone will remember that they're up there beyond
You'll be moving out when you find those again.
Not a chance they're even going to remember those coupons are up there. And they're like coupons, they're like keyring coupons or something. They're like, I don't know.
Keyring coupons?
I was curious, but not curious enough to actually infect myself. So I left. I let them stay up there and defumigate on the...
Yeah, about a week.
Top of the roof. Right. Right.
They will both be okay and forgotten at that point.
I don't have like jars of formaldehyde sitting around. I can just plop them in or anything. Like I should, but don't.
Rubbing alcohol in a spritzer.
So then she says, but before she sends them off, they ask her what is like. So my mother, God bless her, before Halloween, or so this goes way back. Okay, so there's a certain person that we know who makes candles.
Yes.
And this person like has like different oils and stuff that they use to make the candles. And they have never made it like they've never made hand sanitizing like versions of the candles because
I bet that would be tough. Yeah.
Of the sense because there's a whole process you have to go through with the FDA and blah blah blah. It's like a whole thing.
Oh yeah, but
I was like, well, I can off label do this, right? So I got them to agree to maybe like I bought these cases of hand sanitizer. Remember when you couldn't find hand sanitizer?
Yes, I do.
Right, to save your life, literally. I bought like 2 cases from Sazerac, like I think it's Sazerac. Yeah, Sazerac distillery. Is basically just giant, like 1.75 liters of, like 24. So so I have like, you do the math. 1.75 liters times 24. That's how much hand sanitizer I have.
Okay.
Of that stuff.
This is from a distillery, so is this ethanol based rather than isopropyl based?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you can't drink it because it's
denatured, I guess.
It's denatured, and then they add like a bittering agent to it too, I think.
Oh, specifically so you don't drink it.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. It's like required, right?
Yeah, so members of my family that would not deter.
Oh God. So anyway, I have this, but I was like, wouldn't it be good if I could scent these?
Yeah.
So they could be scented, right? So I got some, like, put some oil in some of them. But it was like too much oil. It was like really super strong. Uh-huh. So when I got home, I like mixed some, I sort of diluted it with other, and it's still really strong. Some of them are still really strong, but I put them together into like these little, I bought from Amazon, like a case of these like different size hand pump things. Mm-hmm. One of which is probably the size of, I don't know, 16 ounces or something like that. And gave one to my mother. Well, at Halloween, she sat, and it's really still strong, right? Anyway, at Halloween, she sat it out there with like the treats, with the candy, so that when people took the candy, they could also like sanitize their hands.
Oh yeah, cool.
Right. Mm-hmm. A lot of people did that. Well, hers has still been sitting out there since Halloween.
Outside?
Yeah. I mean, okay. I don't know how many people actually help themselves do it. There's still plenty in there.
Yeah.
It's a large container of hand sanitizer.
Is it out like by the street, or is
no, it's out like on like on her
porch?
Front. It's on, it's like on the porch.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't even know what its chemical properties are at this point.
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
how much is actually still alcohol versus how much is probably the glycerin that they add to it, to make it
oxidized or something.
yeah.
And what kind of a scent are we talking about that's in there?
I don't remember now. It was probably either Ocean Flight or I just said the brand name. It was either the Ocean Flight or the or one of the resort smells.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what it like. I wouldn't use it now. You couldn't pay me to use it now because I don't know what's like. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Right. Well, she says that. Oh, and I guess they were asking about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's for your hands." I'm like,
and you heard her say that. And
I'm like, oh no, we're gonna have lawsuits. Great. Kids are gonna they're gonna squirt skin in their eyes. The at the least the coupons are gonna smell like
at this point.
The coupons are gonna smell like Flight of Passage. Like I don't know what's happening. And so that happened, and I just don't know. Oh, but here's the thing: they weren't even Girl Scouts.
Yeah, okay.
They were Cub Scouts.
Were they female Cub Scouts?
There was one, I guess. Now. Yeah, it was like the first pair. Because that's the other thing she did. Somehow she got this detailed story out of these people about, and I guess maybe the mom was with them, but she was down at the street because the mom knows better than to get up close to strangers.
Well, let the kids go up there.
And so when my mother asked about do you want a mask? The girls responded, "Oh no, we don't have to wear masks when we're outside." I'm going to be like, but you're going door to door. You're
older people's faces.
Oh gosh, why Florida? Why? Anyway, yeah. So they're Cub Scouts, and then she was like the first girl Cub Scout in some part of the community or whatever.
Troop or whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
That's cool.
Not really.
No.
Yeah, just do it online.
Oh well, do it. No, I mean, her being the first girl Cub Scout
cool.
in the.
I mean, it's fine.
Everywhere.
I mean,
or whatever.
Why can't they just call them why do they even have to have Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts in? Why don't they just call them Scouts? Be done with it.
I don't think
boys are allowed to be. I don't think boys are allowed to.
Cub works though. Cub Scouts.
I don't think a boy can be a Girl Scout though. Can they?
If not,
I actually have no idea.
Uncool.
I have no idea. No idea.
But there were over 1,000 girls that made Eagle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This past year, that's awesome. Yeah,
that's really good. I mean, for what it's worth.
Yeah,
I mean, it's basically still child labor. Any way you shake it. I mean, even the Eagle Scout thing. I mean, you're doing a project. They'll often do a project for the church. For a church or a community organization. Maybe it's building a garden or whatever.
Like a little patch.
So so let me get this straight. You took your time, lots of time, scores of hours, right? You bought material and you built this thing for this church that other people give money to.
Right.
For all the other
exactly
things.
This kind of thing.
For all the other things. But you did it for free so that you could get your patch from this organization that you pay money to.
Yep.
So you can do the free work and get the patch for the free work.
You know what's worse? Those kids that don't make Eagle. They do all that junk and they still don't get it.
I just want to make sure I understand because apparently they don't have a patch for economics.
Right. Spotting a scam.
There was a patch. It's like the best pyramid scheme ever created.
We used to offer a merit badge in critical thinking, but as soon as they got that merit badge, they didn't get any more merit badges. For some reason, they quit. So we don't offer that one anymore.
That's right. Where's the fallacy badge? I mean, look, I have nothing against the Scouts.
No, not at all.
At all. I mean, I don't really know enough to be to be anti or pro, but I do. I do know a Ponzi scheme when I see it, and this is definitely a version of it. I mean, it's an innocent version. Like, it's not like they're trying, like, no one's going to end up in financial ruin over any of this, right?
Right.
But let's
just... if one of their merit badges was to go and sucker 3 other people to be Scouts, then we'd have to probably start looking into this.
But that's what they kind of, I mean, they probably do have some sort of equivalent. Yeah, for like recruiting or something, right? Or
codes.
Yeah, I mean, Girl Scouts. I think the worst is Girl Scouts selling cookies.
Cookies.
I think. Yeah. I mean, that's got because there are companies, these are legitimate, like, for-profit companies that make these cookies for the Girl Scouts.
Yeah,
and it literally is child labor that is their distribution mechanism.
Yeah,
like your last,
like
the final mile of your distribution system is children,
enthusiastic children.
Oh yeah,
ready to go.
Yes, I mean
that's pretty brilliant.
And school program. We used to sell that stuff. You ever sell like candy bars and stuff in school?
Oh yeah, for school.
It's the same thing.
I always end up eating half of them.
I won one year. I think I was a freshman in high school, and we were selling these chocolate bars. They were like the ugliest looking chocolate. They were like some generic looking chocolate bar, and they would come in like a case. They would come in like cardboard. So everybody, like, I mean, I don't have you could buy an individual chocolate bar, but you could buy, like, you sell like the case of chocolate bars, and it was like a dozen chocolate bars in a case, in a cardboard case, but it made it really easy to transport them. Anyway, there's like little shipping containers for chocolate bars. Mm-hmm. And I think for every case that you sold, your name went into a drawing for this.
Okay, cool.
5-pound chocolate bar. I mean, and so
Mike TV Wonka bars.
So at the end of this program, it was the last period of the day, and they make this announcement. They do this like special announcement from the principal's office, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna do the drawing to see who won the blah blah blah." I won.
All right. What'd you get?
So they sent me down to I went down to the office to pick up my bar before I got on the school bus, and I got, it was this giant, it was in cardboard, no surprise, but like this giant chocolate bar, 5 pounds, 5 pounds.
It's a big chocolate bar.
It's ginormous. But it was like small. I was like,
it's just like chisel some off, like.
I mean, maybe
ice vendor from the 1800s.
Maybe it wasn't 5 pounds. Maybe it was more like 2 pounds. I don't know. It was very large.
Well, yeah.
I mean, very very, but not so large that I wasn't able to figure out a way to wedge it into my freezer at home.
Ah.
So I stuck it in the freezer at home.
Okay.
And then for like the rest, I don't know for how long. When I would come home from school, like that would part of my snack. Little fatty Jason, like I'd go to their freezer and I'd break off a piece of frozen chocolate bar. And I'd like
for like 3 years you're eating this thing.
It was a long time. But somehow it was like it was prescient. Like I knew like this is gonna last so long. I can't salt it.
Right, that would be weird.
So I'm gonna stick it in this freezer, and I can't put it in the freezer in the base. And we had
one of the chest freezers.
Well, no, that's the thing. In our basement we had an extra refrigerator and an extra freezer.
Okay.
And the freezer was like this old school thing from the 1950s that belonged to my grandparents, that they were the ones who built this house, and then they moved to the beach, and my parents they never moved this freezer.
And I bet you that thing freezes.
Oh yeah. But at some point along the way, the handle broke off the freezer.
Ooh. Okay.
So the handle that you would like use so the only way you could open this freezer. It's so embarrassing. The only way you could open this freezer was you would take a can, like a canned good can, like a can of peas or something. And you'd have to like push the little, like there was like a little release thing. You push it where the handle I guess used to push it. And then you have to pull it open at the same time, like so where the weather stripping is there.
Right.
You're like so push and pull at the same time. You had to have like this like Indiana Jones style like symmetry to your movement. And
give me the idol, I give you the chocolate bar.
So and the can. I remember when I would do this, and I was little, so like I have to use my body. I had to put my shoulder into it, like.
Oh wow!
Like I had to put the can like on my chest, because otherwise, like I couldn't get enough oomph. Like I had to like really lean into it and then pull it right. Well, this can is so janky.
Are you like, using the same can?
Oh yeah, the same can.
That's the freezer opening can.
It's the freezer opening, so it's got like all these. It's got all these little pot marks in it. So you're wondering.
God help you if you eat those peas.
It's like every time you would do it, you're wondering if this is the time that it penetrates. Like, is this?
That's what I'm sorry. How long did it take?
It was like this game of Russian roulette. Like every time, like, is this the time? And I don't know why. Like, it made no sense. For decades, this happened. Like, yeah. Anyway, I didn't use that freezer for obvious reasons. That was not a situation of convenience. I was going to need to have this more accessible, so that went in the upstairs freezer. Oh, there's also this time. Speaking of appliances in this house, this is the haunted house, by the way, that we've talked about.
Yeah, with the basement. Yeah,
I was downstairs probably watching Gilligan's Island or something one day after school, and I thought I heard like. It probably sounds something like this, like,
okay,
like, but more like if it was metal. So if I have something metal,
okay,
metal, is this metal? I wonder how long that water's been in there. Okay, it was like, no, that doesn't sound metal, does it? Anyway,
we get the idea though.
But it was like this. There was like something tapping on. It's like here's.
This is me walking through the woods.
Here's fire. That'd be a great job, by the way. Like,
that would be awesome.
So what sounds am I supposed to make today? Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Oh yeah. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I hear this noise like tick, 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 tick. Okay. Then I think I hear it again. I turn around and I thought I saw like a spark.
Okay.
Over in this area where there was like this, it was like a drain pipe that came down from upstairs, over in like the laundry area of the basement, and attached, I don't know why, but like hanging on this drain pipe was like some sort of something that was like, it was like a cross between a Christmas ornament and something you'd hang from like your rearview mirror kind of, but it was metal. But it was like metal. So maybe it was you know what? I think it was like a wind chime kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For whatever reason, it wasn't on the other side, wind blowing in the wind. It was like hanging on this. There's something on this drain pipe.
Okay.
And I think it's like that was making there was some kind of like spark happening there.
Oh wow,
weird, right? And I'm like, that's weird. But I knew enough. Like at that point, I was like, I probably shouldn't touch that.
Don't lick it.
I probably shouldn't. I should probably stay away from that. So I said something. I think I said something to one of my parents when they got home. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, okay. And later that day, I don't remember which of my parents just like they saw it or whatever, but they saw like an arc of electric go across the floor of the kitchen.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Spooky. It turns out that the refrigerator, I guess there was water pooling underneath of it.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
That I guess every once in a while was coming into contact with
some wiring or
something under there.
And it wasn't tripping like a breaker or a fuse or anything.
No, instead it was sending an arc of electricity across the floor, which then was traveling down the drain pipe.
Jesus.
Which is why when you ground things in your house, you ground them to your plumbing. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah. They go into the dirt.
Into the ground, right? Yeah, well, it went in the dirt, all right. It almost, if I just been a little more curious or stupid.
Zot.
Yeah. Right?
Wow. And so it's kind of like arcing off of that little thingy.
Yes.
Every now and then.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Appliances in my house when I was growing up.
Like a war zone.
It was like, yeah, it was it was a difficult thing. I don't know why. And it's so funny, like as a kid, opening an old freezer with a canned good just doesn't seem weird. You know? Until you have your friends come over and they're like, what?
You gotta do what now?
What? That's not normal.
Maybe I don't want chocolate.
No. Right? Oh my goodness, I know. Oh my gosh. How are you doing? You good?
I'm doing good.